family, welcome to Faith Stands with Mercy, a space where faith meets everyday life and where we tackle the hard truths many of us face as believers. And many of us don't want to talk about it, but I'm here so we can keep talking about them and we can grow together. If this is your first time here, I'm Mercy and I'm so glad you tuned in. In our last episode, we explored the line between faith and mercy, and I received a really moving, deep reflection from one of our listeners. She opened up about what she has been struggling with, struggling with God's silence in her life in the midst of her desire to have a child. Especially after she has been witnessing a lot of people around her that don't even want children. There are those people around us that don't want kids or are not living a lifestyle that, but yet those ones are experiencing the same thing she's been praying for, that she has been longing for. She shared how difficult it was to understand why God seemed to show mercy to others, why she that has been longing and trusting God with so much hope and having faith has been felt like she has been met with silence, with God's silence, especially in this journey of towards motherhood. Her words were raw, it was honest and deeply relatable, like to think about it. And I believe that many of us have had those moments in our life where we have the same experience, or some of us even had that very moment in our life where we are asking God, why are you silent? When I need you the most right now. So this is what inspired me, about today's topic. So today we'll be diving into one of the hardest truths, about faith. And what is this? It is that God's silence doesn't always mean his absence, right? And I'm going to be taking just 3 examples from the scriptures that will help us understand what I mean. The first one is from the book of Psalms chapter 13 from verse 1 to 2. It's about the man we know so much, David. If we read it, he says, "How long, Lord? How long will you forget me forever? How long will you hide your face from me?" This is David. In that moment when he was running away from Saul, right? This is him. This is what he was experiencing. And this is a man we know to be after God's heart. He has experienced the manifestation of God in his life. But yet, this is him. This is what he's feeling at this moment. And yet he experienced this thing, what many of us face, the seeming silence of God. Now let's look at another example, and that is Job. Job is another example that a lot of us use a lot when we're trying to advise people to be patient, to trust God's process and all of that, right? But yeah, Job lost everything, like his family, his health, his wealth. Do you know what it means to lose your health, your family, and your wealth all at the same time? Like your village people are just after you in everything. For days he kept asking God, Baba, what did I do wrong? Nothing. He had nothing. His friends were coming with different advices. Heaven was quiet. And eventually when God spoke, guess what God said? God did not explain himself. He did not try to tell Job, this is why this is happening to you. He told God, he reminded Job, rather, of who he is, his sovereignty, his holiness, and his wisdom. That was what he reminded Job. Now let's look at the last example that I have for us today. And that is for Lazarus. Lazarus had 2 sisters, Mary and Martha. Lazarus was very sick. And they sent for Jesus, to tell him that our brother is sick, come help us, because Jesus has been, going around and healing people. They know he's, what he's capable of. But Jesus delayed intentionally, and their brother died. At that moment, I can already feel it that Mary and Martha were already full of so much despair and was like, why? I needed you, and Jesus then showed up. That moment. Well, we sent for you a while ago. Now, Lazarus is already dead, and all of that. But what they didn't realize is that Jesus had a different plan. He was planning a resurrection. His delay wasn't denial. It was for greater glory. Praise God. And here's the truth we don't always want to hear. Sometimes God is silent, not because he's punishing us, but because he's preparing us. I've experienced that. I can tell you the truth. because He's preparing our hearts, He's preparing our faith, He's preparing our endurance. And sometimes He's working behind the scenes in ways we don't, we can't comprehend, or we don't yet comprehend. And sometimes I just want to understand that God's silence is not rejection. Sometimes it is redirection, it is refinement, and sometimes it is simply Him allowing our faith to be matured in the silence. We don't like this. It can be uncomfortable, Everybody wants to have a good time, have a good life, as believers. That's what we want to have, right? What's all these processes we are talking about? It's not a sin where we are trying to say trust the process, right? Oh my God, yeah. But yes, that's basically it. God has a way of always coming through. This is not me trying to be a motivational speaker. This is the truth. So I'm here to encourage you with this reflection, that silence doesn't mean absence. God is still working. Even when He seems quiet, maybe like, our listener, what she shared, and looking as if God remains silent in this trust process. Your heart is aching in God's silence. I want you to know that you are not alone, and your faith isn't invalidated by your pain. It is not. I want you to hold on to this truth, that God hasn't forgotten you. You are still seen, still loved, and still held. It's okay to question. He wants us to question. He's our Father. It's okay to wrestle. Yes, we have battles to fight every now and then, but keep pressing in. Just keep trusting, and everything will be all right. So if you've experienced this, this season where God seems silent, I want you to be able to talk back to us. How did you walk through? Because you are helping a lot of people here, people that might listen to this probably years to come. You might be helping them, so don't feel shy away to talk about it. Just share your story with us, either in comments or reach out to us on our, email, and just talk to us about it. And if you've been standing in faith for something and feel like nothing is happening, don't be discouraged. Faith is powerful. His silence is not absence, and God's timing is sometimes beyond our understanding. Trust in His time. He's working all things for your good. So thank you so much again for listening. If this message resonated with you, drop a comment below. If you have felt God's silence in your life and in your faith journey, or in the life of those around you, just share with us. Let's talk about it. And please, if you are yet to subscribe to our channel, please like, share, subscribe, share this message with someone that probably needs it. And I'm so happy that you tuned in. So thank you so much. Let's keep this conversation going. Let's take this faith journey together. See you in the next episode. Bye.